evening, good evening, good evening,
Good evening.
Good evening.
everybody. Listeners, viewers, hosts, guests, everybody. Good evening
Yes.
to you. Glad to have you in the house. Glad to be here today. This is Sunday evening at 7 p.m. You have tuned into Authors Up, just in case you didn't know. This is our favorite place to be on Sunday
Information.
evening. And my two co hosts are here tonight. We got everybody in the house today.
Yes.
All
Amen.
kinds
Amen.
Yes, we do.
of all kinds of stuff going on, but everybody's here today. So I say good evening to you, Ruth Griffin. How are you? And you have a greeting for our listeners and viewers tonight.
I do. Thank you so much. I am happy to be here, happy to be back. And I just enjoy being here with you guys. And also, I enjoy being here for our audience. Welcome and thank you for coming back.
Awesome, awesome. How about you,
Yep.
Queen Victoria? What would you say to your subjects
I'm
tonight?
going to sing it. We're all in our places with sunshiny faces. Good evening, everybody. Long live the queen.
All
Wow.
right, all right. Very good, very good. Well, we have a great guest tonight, and she has a wonderful book, and we're going to explore that this evening. And we're glad that she's with us. We're going to hear some things from her in her own voice. We've been doing this a little bit more often in having our authors read or select pieces from their work that they want to share with us, and we are really excited about that. It really makes a difference when you hear the story from the person who wrote it and birthed it,
Absolutely.
and so we're glad about that. So you're going to hear more about that a little bit later. But for now, we're going to do our usual week in review. We're going to start with Ruth and then Victoria, and then I'll bring up the rear there. So we're going to start with you, Miss Ruth. How was your
Okay.
week?
It was good. It was good. Actually, obviously, I wasn't here last week. But I got the opportunity to meet my daughter's in-laws. So if we recall,
Right.
going back a little bit, she eloped. So there was no wedding. There was no, hey, come meet parents, any of that. So we got the opportunity to meet her mother-in-law. Her sister-in-law came down from DC. So we got a chance to meet her and we got a chance to meet father-in-law via FaceTime. And honestly, they are just the greatest bunch.
Aw.
Just, I mean, it is always, we really like the husband. So
Mhm.
it was just, meeting them was just the icing on the cake. And you could tell, where he got his just really niceness from, for lack of a better term.
Aw.
So
Is this the first time you've met them?
yes, I've been communicating with the mother-in-law via text, but this was the first time meeting them in person, talking with them, just at length. We hung out the whole weekend, went to church with them. It was just really, really, really nice. So,
Oh,
um, I'm looking forward to, hanging out with them more and just getting to know them better. So it was, I did tell my daughter this. I'm like, you picked really well. So
Oh, that's nice. That's
it is, and it makes me, they're a lot closer to her. I think just a few hours away, so they do spend a lot of time there, and I'm really glad for that, so that she will always be surrounded by family, whether it's us or them
that's
or anyone
wonderful.
else. So
Yes.
yeah,
that's great. That's
mhm,
great.
yeah. So that was my week.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Good.
That's
Yeah.
smiley. That makes the smileys and the feel goods.
Yeah. How was your week, Victoria?
So. Yeah, I know I've been struggling a little bit with my back, and I'm struggling, I must say, but it's gonna be all right.
Mm,
I I like to watch. I don't know if you've heard of the challenge on MTV, where
mm-mm.
they kind of uh, do all these different tasks, and then they have teams, and sometimes they do individual things, and there's a final that's run. I seem to be obsessed lately with watching the challenge, and it's been 30 plus years of the challenges, so there's a challenge channel, and so I just get my fancy by watching them.
Okay.
And they do the eating challenges, and they'll do jumping off the side of things, and all of that stuff. And I love watching it because it just gives me hope. So I watched a little bit of the challenge over the weekend, and it just, like I said, it just made me feel better that if they can do some of those things, I will survive this. So that's what I like to do when I'm not feeling well. Just watch positive stuff,
Mhm.
that lets me know that I can make it. And what was good about this past week was that it was the holiday, and I couldn't care less about the firecrackers and the hot dogs and whatever the case may be. All I knew is that Wednesday at 12 o'clock, I left work, and I didn't have to go back until tomorrow morning. Because they
Gosh.
closed the building on third. They closed Wednesday at 12. We are off on Fridays because of the summer hours, and then we are
Mhm.
off Thursday for the holiday. So I had a nice long weekend, and I it just that was the good part.
Oh,
Okay.
Now, am I ready to go back in the morning? No. How you give some people an inch and they want to just take a whole mile?
That's you.
That is me. I want another couple of days, but I'm going to get another couple this coming week because I'm going to travel to Florida to my girlfriend's 60th birthday party. So
Oh,
the
nice.
next time we meet, I will have some really good things to talk about other than my bad back. But I'm still here. I'm still smiling. I'm still pressing and praise the Lord. Oh, one good thing, Leah's on the line and she was in town for
Uh-huh.
the last couple of days, and I got to see her. We did go. We went to see Inside Out 2. So, see, there were some good things that did happen this week.
Did you like it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Go see Inside Out 2. Matter of fact, I would like to go again. It's just that good. It really, I won't give it a spoiler, but it's just talks about the emotions, and it left you thinking what emotion is driving you.
Mhm.
Love it, love it, love it.
Okay.
Shameless plug for Inside Out too. And what about you, Miss Andrea?
Well, I want to get on the movie list because there are a couple of things out there I want to see. I want to see Inside Out too, and I also want to see the I can't think of the name. Sound of Hope. I think it
Yes,
is. Yeah,
yes,
that's on
yes. I
my
do want to
movie
see that
list too.
too.
So I want
Oh,
to see
yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I
Yeah.
want
Yeah,
to see that.
and I
That
want to
look.
see Bad Boys 4. I think that's four Bad Boys 4. I do want to see that too.
Okay, if you have
Fine.
this one is not in the theater, but if you haven't seen Beverly Hills Cop 4, Axel F,
Axel F on
it
Netflix.
is a worthy sequel. You will enjoy
Oh,
it.
really?
I
It's on
watched that
Netflix.
yesterday. I watched that
Yeah.
last night. I enjoyed that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That,
Yes.
that
So
that I hadn't added that to my list, but
add
I
it to your list.
will,
I'm
and
gonna watch that again too.
that'll be right behind the buttered popcorn and the chicken tenders.
It was good to see all the old people. The old
And they were old.
yeah, yes. Key word there, but it was Eddie looks good though. Okay, we digress. How was your week?
Like
Well,
even
the
the
month
young people
coming
were
up is
old.
going to be full and good, sounds like, because I'm going to take in some of these movies. But let's see, had one bit of bad news and a
Okay.
couple of things we're supposed to follow up on this weekend. So the bad news is that a friend of mine in South Carolina uh, had there was a fire. I'll put it that
Oh,
way. There was
Oh,
a fire, and
sorry to hear
she
that.
lost everything.
oh.
And when I say everything, I mean everything. She's okay. Her
Mhm.
son's okay. She has two boys. They are all fine. But I mean,
Woo.
the even the cars that were in the garage,
Oh wow.
Oh.
all gone. And we think of, I can't imagine. I'll
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
put it that way. I can't imagine waking up one day and just having nothing but the
But
clothes
with the
on my
clothes on your
back.
back. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
But their spirits are they are in good spirits and
Mhm.
getting help that they need, trying to keep up with them through Angie O, who's our South Carolina connection.
Okay.
And we believe prayerfully that, well, everything's going to be okay.
Mhm.
they have their lives and everything is going to be okay. So that was a not so
Yeah.
good news.
Yeah.
But remember, last week we were talking about some things that we needed to do, Victoria. One
Yeah.
of them had to do with movement,
Yes.
being more intentional with movement, and I can't remember what the other one was. Uh,
Was it water? Still water? We know that's a
it
given.
was something else, and I had written it down on my sheet, and now I've misplaced my
Yeah.
paper. But
Oh, okay.
but
Okay.
so I don't remember what it was. But I know that the movement, I did very well. I'm proud of myself. Give myself a pat on the back. I
Good
did
for you.
that for reasons that I wasn't expecting, but I got a lot of movement in. And the other thing, I remember what it was. I had the a caregiver's assignment.
Yes.
Mhm.
I remember I was supposed to stay with my friend, and
Yes.
I was able to do that Wednesday evening through this morning, and it was just the evening. So I went over and fixed dinner, and we had dinner together and watched movies. Just had an opportunity to visit with one another, and it just turned out really, really, really nice. And she she was telling me, she said you can everything's set up and you can select one of the bedrooms upstairs. You sleep in any one you want. I
Oh.
turned around and I looked at the stairs and thought, won't be happening, sweetie. Not going up there.
You didn't get no steps in on the steps.
Oh, no, no, no. I said, if I go up those steps and something happens to you down here,
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be Wednesday before I get back down these steps. So we will not be doing that. But I
Oh
said,
my goodness.
I love this overstuffed chair down here, and I'm gonna get me some throws and just be right here. So everything.
Oh.
But we did have fun. We had
Oh,
fun
good.
talking and enjoying ourselves, and I was really, really glad that I was able to help. Um,
Good.
and I would suggest, or remind our audience, there's always someone. There's always someone um, that can really use a visit. A visit. I'm going to put it
Mhm.
that way. A visit.
Yeah.
Texting is nice.
Yeah.
And being able to call people is nice, but if there is any way you can make your presence known and felt, let me tell you, it makes all the difference in the world. So that was my week. That's a lot of other things going on, but we're gonna hold it right there. What is it that our author says? You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them. So
Got you.
we're gonna hold them right there, lady.
All right.
And we're going to get started from there. So, Victoria, why don't you tell us about our guest and our book and all that good stuff coming up?
All right. We have Waiting in the Winds, Shemekka Ebony. She is a remarkable woman who wears many hats and positively impacts the world. She is an activist, a community researcher, a best selling author, a business owner, a consultant, a speaker, a wife, and a mother of six. He is passionate about advancing well being and equity on a foundation of racial justice. She founded Black Girl Magic Market, which celebrates and supports Black women entrepreneurs. She is also the co founder of I Am Brilliant, PLE Leaders, and the Crown Campaign, which is a movement to empower people with lived experience to share their stories and advocate for change. She has been featured in New York Times Magazine 2021 Money Edition and has received several awards for her work. Shemekka Ebony is an inspiration to many and a voice of lived experience expertise. Well, after this short break, we're going to be back with Shemekka and she's going to be able to talk with us about her book. Here's my shorts, devotionals, and poetry filled life lessons with a bonus journal. We'll be right back.
she
Well,
is.
Yes, welcome.
Hello. Thank you all so much for having me. What an awesome honor.
of course. Thank you for coming on our show.
Absolutely.
This has been fun. I like how y'all vibe together. We're gonna have some
Oh,
fun.
thank you.
Welcome, 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 because you were vibing right with us before we came on the air. So we're grateful for that. Grateful for that. Sorry, Ruth, go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. So, all right, Shemekka. Well, let's start with your book. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, so y'all, it is. I know the title may scare some people, but While I'm Getting Naked is not about my personal strip show in physical form, but it is about stripping my existence in the things that held me back and dim my light, the negativity, the frustrations, the anger, the bitterness. While I'm Getting Naked here, my shorts is a compilation of devotionals and poetry and anecdotes and short stories that God put me on a journey of living out. And then, in full disclosure, it took me 10 years to let go of it because I didn't think anyone would benefit from it. And so
Mhm.
I held on to it for 10 years. And the pandemic helped us get all delivered, didn't it?
Right.
Amen.
Yes, it did.
All the way.
Right, right. So with that delivery, the manifestation of moving forward with publication of While I'm Getting Naked came, which I wrote while living in a church with my two sons. In the hedges and highways, literally from theory to practice, we found ourselves on that journey, and God put some things in my life that allowed this to come out so that I could help others.
Okay. All right. So, I was going to say that, your book obviously is not just about reflections, but there's a lot of actions to be taken from the entries. It's not just, oh, here, read what I did, but here's what you can do as well.
Right.
Yes.
So, talk about that.
Yeah, for me, it was important, especially with the seasoning, right? Because not only did I survive what I wrote, but it was also like, well, God, this isn't just for me. I have a thing that I believe in and live by. If God opens doors, I'm going to take them off the hinges. And
Amen.
so when we look at While I'm Getting Naked, it wasn't just about me getting free or
Mhm.
me, my four, no more. It was really about I am now currently at that point in my life, a representation of what's possible. And so I knew that if I can help other people get down to their core and get naked, the mask, everything that we pile on to cover up what we're going through or what we're struggling with, then I believe that the reflective component of this, I guess probably from being a peer therapist and a minister, all of that fed into me believing that other people can come out too. And so I wrote it in a way that people could not only see my testimony of my getting naked, but I show you how you can do that too and kind of get naked with yourself and see your own evolution and have your own private party of getting more real with yourself and getting to the core of what God has called you to.
All right.
It's awesome.
All right. So you said 10 years. Did you actually write the manuscript? What, like 2014, or how did
It
that
was
work for you?
actually 2021. So While I'm Getting Naked, I wrote while it was produced in 2021, but I wrote it in 2011. So
Okay.
this was literally when God called me into the hedges and highways. I thought he was like, forsake everything and follow me. I thought he just wanted me to clean out my closet, get rid of some old clothes, get some stuff away, all that nice, cute, feel good stuff. And he's just like, no, there's more.
Uh-huh.
And that there's more went from what's supposed to be a literal, we're going to just camp out at the church because we're waiting on the house that we are going to be renting down here to be available. We're just going
Mhm.
to camp out here over the weekend and then we're going to go in. And then, like, while I'm literally out doing a youth conference in New York, I get a call from the landlord and was like, if you don't bring your deposit today, I'm going to get this to somebody else. And I was
Mm.
like, you mean today? Like today?
Uh-huh.
Today? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I'm in New York and you're in Topsail, North Carolina. Like, this is not happening. It's not realistic. So I had to sit in that, knowing that here I am thinking I'm doing the right thing. I'm out in the hedges and highways, and the very
Uh-huh.
thing that I was looking forward to, that I had been preparing my life to be on missions, my house, what was promised to me was just like, nope, that wasn't it. But that's what got you to the point of being where I wanted you to be. And what that weekend turned into 2 and a half years there. I couldn't find employment. Like nobody would hire me. I was too overqualified. People would even call me back. I remember interviewing for a military base in Jacksonville several times, and they know it's me. Like, with a name like Shemekka, you don't get that wrong, right? They kept calling me back. They was like, you are just so qualified for this, but we wish you had military experience. And this was for a civilian sexual violence prevention person. Like nobody needs military experience for that. But that let me know after about 7 rounds of no's with them and getting my emotions up and like, hey, babies, we out of here. We gone. Yeah, it didn't happen. God
Wow.
had us at a food pantry while we were there. My sons wrote grants for backpack programs to feed the community kids over the summer. So there was so much more that came out of that than what my limited expectation or what I thought God's plan was. It was just something to get me comfortable enough to just leap. And then he had a bigger thing for me to tap into. And so I wrote that in 2011. I actually wrote Sanctuary Life, my second book, in 2012 while living in the church as well. But it was something powerful, especially as a servant leader. It allowed me over those 10 years, when I went back and looked at it when 2021 and 2023 came, I was able to look at it through seasoned eyes. I was
Mhm.
able to look at it through a lens of servant leadership that I could even nurture the future of where people would have seen themselves in what I wrote 10 years prior. I was able to speak to their then, their now, and where they're going. And so I'm so grateful that that 10 years of seasoning salt got me to a better place so that I wouldn't, as a servant leader, be bleeding in this book for people
Mhm.
to and see pain but not see purpose.
Mm,
Right.
I love
Wow.
mm, mm, mm.
Wow.
that.
Okay.
Amen.
So were you a writer before you penned the first book?
Not consistently. It was one of those gifts that I was like, I don't like this one no more, so I'm gonna put it over here. My whole high school career, right? I wrote poetry, right? Went in, published, all of that. People would have come to me to write their family members' eulogies to be
Oh, wow.
read to
Mm.
their at their family's funeral or a celebration of life. And so I wrote each one authentically. I would interview. I was doing this in high school. I would interview their families and I would come up with these pieces and share them. But that was way too gloomy for me. So I was just like, I don't know. No, thank you. So I would edit people's stuff through the years.
Uh-huh.
But me writing, it would come in writing sermons. I knew how to put a sermon together because I knew the poetic allure of what the energy was. So that came easy for me. So I found spaces for it. But to say at 10 years prior to publishing, would I have said, I'm going to publish it? But this was my journal. This wasn't even like,
Mhm.
I didn't have a plan for it to be a published piece. But God had something
Mhm.
bigger. And again, that's what feeds into from theory to practice. If God opens doors, I'm gonna take them off the hinges. I'm just like, you don't have to suffer. I've done this. I've suffered for this. Let me help you so that your suffering could be a little less. So this was
Yeah.
my offering to people to help them get along their way and get naked in the process. It's freeing. It feels good. It's lighter,
Mhm.
but it's not easy.
No. Okay, so the book that we have now, was it written like that in your journal? What made you segment it the way you did?
Oh, the way I segmented it to take people on the journey now, a lot of it I still kept out because some
Mhm.
of it was um I knew that the other people involved just weren't at their own readiness level. Even though I was free, this could impact them differently.
Right.
And so I honored those individuals and not necessarily put some of the excerpts in it. Now, if you got my early pilots, then you got all the tea. The uncondensed version, you got all the tea. You can get that's gonna be worth the money real soon. So
Uh-huh.
you want to frame that version. But yeah, this format became more real to me as I saw the power of journaling when it comes to well-being and self-care. And so when I was able to kind of think about it through the lens of I'm talking to my girlfriend or I'm talking to my past self or I'm talking to someone that I want to remind them who they are, I wrote it in a way that you're like, okay, this is what hers was and here's what mine are. Like here's my list of things that I survived. Here's my thing of what it looks like to get naked. And I love the aspect of the phases because I wanted you to know it's not just about getting naked. Like, cool, the good job, that's step one. But then
Mhm.
you have to understand the process and the journey of the naked and not ashamed and
Yeah.
really coming out And then that's kind of like owning your nakedness, right? Like,
Mhm.
yes, I'm naked. Yeah, I know I'm naked. And then there's the other part of the acts. Like, what does it look like in practice? Because I'm very big on, yes, we can talk about and ideate all the time about what a good idea is and what this feels good. But until we understand what it takes to practice it or for it to become a practice, that means we're exercising those beliefs and we're exercising
Mhm.
those thoughts. And that's where the practice comes out. So the I'm coming out to acts is that transformation and transition of this is what it could look like for me, or this is what it looks like for me along the way.
Mhm. Okay. All right. So I'm curious because I am of the mindset that, most books that are written nowadays are for your purpose. So you have Black Girl Magic Market, um, I Am Brilliant, PLE Leaders, and the Crown Campaign. So how does your book fit in with all of that?
All of those really wrap around the essence of the lived experience expert that we all are. And while I'm getting naked is that reminder. It's like it's not a way to fix you. You're not broken. You just need to reallocate, realign, reassess. It's just some manufacturer tech that we have to do to reboot who we are. And while I'm getting naked is consistent across all those platforms, whether you're in civic engagement, whether you're a
Mhm.
community leader, whether you're a parent, whether you're a small business owner, whether you're an entrepreneur that is struggling and figuring out if I'm going to still push for this next thing, reminding yourself of who you are is what while I'm getting naked does. And it gives you these real-time stories of things that you may not have considered, like the things that we believed in that weren't even biblically based, but it controlled our life. The no makeup era, the no pants era. Those things that shaped who we were to give us guardrails to be on a path of righteousness. Some of those things aren't necessarily something that's going to carry you to your next, but because we hold on to it, we kind of get stuck. And so while I'm getting naked peels back those layers to help you find that liberating piece you need to feel strong and confident in who you are and knowing that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. And no matter where you are on the journey, no shame, no shade, in all those components from the Crown Campaign, like you should be able to show up in your full self and not be racially discriminated against because of how your hair looks.
Right.
And
Yep.
you can be a beautician in a barbershop and start a Crown Campaign in Alabama off of being a beautician and a loctician that have heard stories for years about people having to change their hairstyle because of their career, their employment,
Mhm.
and inspiring champions like her to be able to show up in her full self to say, I can do this, I can do this now, I can do this in real time. So I've seen it really be practical to help people recalibrate and recenter. I use it as a tool with my leadership coaching as well, all because it's a good foundation of you getting more comfortable and slowing down your life enough to really get to know yourself better.
That's beautiful. All right. So you have another book as well. You mentioned it earlier. So tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, sanctuary life. Like I do have them right in front of me, right? Sanctuary life. I wrote this in 2012 again, but I did not release it until I came back from Sierra Leone in 2022. It was something about the experience of being in West Africa, working with young people there. We held a I Am Brilliant and Healthy youth symposium while we were there. And it really turned on the light because it really helped me have an understanding of sanctuary life is for the servant leader. It's for those that are called in leadership and serve behind the scenes. But you may not necessarily be comfortable being up front and leading, but you're that introvert leader, however you self-identify. It was a transformational moment for me to like put a stamp of rush on it. Like sanctuary life came after while I'm getting naked. And the essence of sanctuary life is that deeper dive. It's like after you get naked, after you've started out on the acts, this is the discipline. This is the saturation. This is that next step that helps you nurture. It's actually called Sanctuary Life Reflections of a Homeless Leader because it was literally written while I was living in a church. Whereas at that time I didn't identify as homeless at all. But every service provider around me made me take that label and identity, which also informed name those labels because I had to be labeled homeless to get support. I had to be labeled homeless to get financial assistance. I had to be
Mhm.
identified as homeless because it wasn't a house. sounds crazy retrospect, but this is how broken our system is to control. And these labels take on an identity. Think about all these
Mhm.
things that make you label yourself as just so you can get access to something.
Yeah.
And I thank God that I was able to shake that identity. I was able to shake those things that were felt confining, because it really wasn't who I was, but it was what I looked like from the outside, and that was a part I had to go through. And we all kind of feel that with those labels that we carry that someone may have put on us, because of something that they saw in us. They pushed us out there in the area that may not have been our calling, but it's their calling, and you look better
Mhm.
doing it, so it's easy to push you out. Y'all might not be able to relate to that, but you know somebody that may have experienced that
Yeah.
before.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll have to check that one out. Andrea, what questions you've got?
I don't know. I don't know where to start, where to go, how to finish. My goodness,
I'm the
Shemekka,
same way.
you've done so much, and it is fascinating to me the way that we get a lot of authors, and they write wonderful work, but to be able to incorporate what you have written into so many different areas and so many other projects that you are a part of. I think it's just phenomenal that you've been able to do that and do it successfully. I mean, I'm sitting here enjoying listening to you, and it is just with such ease that you're just transitioning and transforming in all these different ways in all these different places. And I just think it's phenomenal that you're able to do that. I want to talk about, because it's just getting to me. Your earrings and the logo. Tell me about that. May not have anything to do with the book, but I really want to know. I want to know about the earrings and the logo. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I am so proud to share about these earrings, because this logo was the first ring I got from my husband.
Oh,
So he presented this logo to me, and I met him in community. We're both second chance marriage. I had two boys, he had two girls. We literally lovingly call ourselves the Brilliant Bunch. Just six and all. And we have two sons that God blessed us together. And when he gave this to me, he felt that it resonated with my energy, how I carried myself, the calling that is on my life to the feminine essence and energy of people, yes, at minimum, but I'm called to all nations, and this draws people no matter their ethnicity, their socioeconomic status. My logo is a conversation starter. uh, and it draws people, and for me it's again my first ring, so it has a personal aspiration to me. But I see the feminine essence of Venus and royalty and my queendom, and it's just like an energy, it's a vibe. And so I wanted it to create, and it'll be, we have products that has the logo that we have out there and that we've done with mugs and t-shirts, because it's not just something, yes, it has my name on it, but I want to share it. I want other people to feel that way too, and call them to their greater inner place that they are being elevated to in their development.
Well, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I really do like it. I was listening to you, and I kept thinking, I can't forget to ask her about that. I gotta ask her about that. Gotta ask her about that. So thank you for sharing that with us. I wanted to have you read something to us, and and I also wanted to ask you a question while you're getting that. I'm sorry that I didn't give this to you prior to our broadcast, but I just want you to read the well-being affirmation
Yes.
that you have in the book. I want you to read that for us, if you don't mind, and talk about that a little bit. But before we get right there, I want to know how you settled on your title. We've been doing a lot of talk here lately about selecting titles for your
Mhm.
work, and so many even movies and things like that that we enjoy today didn't start that way, didn't start titles that they ended up with. So, was this your beginning to end title? Did you have something else in mind, or tell me how this title came to be and how it stuck?
Great question. So again, this started as my journal. So it was just me kind of having prompts. What you see, the consistency with scriptures, it was kind of imagined, inspired by scriptures that kind of led to journal entries
Right.
and my reflections. But while I'm getting naked, it was like once I got to a comfortable stopping place, like that had that reality of like I am getting real naked, like the stuff that you wouldn't want to tell people, the things that we've survived that we just don't want to talk about. I was like getting very vulnerable and naked about it. And I was just like, oh, that would be so cool. I know it was action because I was still experiencing it. So I was just like, okay, while I'm getting naked, here are my shorts. I wrote devotionals. That was something I was already doing when I was when I spent some time at Oral Roberts University. And so for me, it was very important for me to really in my vulnerability own it, like literally, the song I'm coming now. That's what I wanted it to feel like. And I knew while I'm getting naked, people would judge the book by its cover, and I banked on them wanting to lean into wonder and curiosity so that by the time they actually got the book in their hands, it would be more than what they expected and really meet
Mhm.
them where they are. It's a
Okay.
great question.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, my pleasure. And let's get to the well being affirmation. I love this. Great choice. Speak this aloud. So while I'm reading this, whether you're watching us on YouTube or you're watching us on Facebook, I really want you to tap into this and say this to yourself. Close your eyes, give yourself this moment, and sit into this affirmation. Today is the first day of my next life in God and with God. Today, I make a decision to look beyond the past, letting go of the hurts, anger, the frustrations, the fears, and failures. Today, I will put my trust not in myself or any other created being, but in the Creator alone, the Father of all who believe. Today, I declare I am a believer. Author unknown. And whenever I fall short of this declaration, I will return to it, check in with my feelings, and declare it over my thoughts and life again.
Amen. Amen. All right, y'all. Okay, in case I'm gonna say it right here, right now. It's a good time to say it. Get the book. Get the book. You're
Yes.
going to want to get this book. I love the way you pulled it all together. And I wouldn't have thought you wrote this book 10 years ago because it is relevant for today of getting I don't know. I think I'm at that point in my life, still trying to find purpose. What am I supposed to be doing? And to get real with yourself about, especially what I want the next part of my life to look at. And so it really resonated with me. Um, I just love that affirmation. I think I'm gonna have to print that out.
Yes. Yes. Put it on your mirror.
Yes, letting go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, letting go of the past. Say, come on, say that part again. Say that part.
All right,
Today.
we're gonna slow it down too, so we can make sure
Okay.
today, because I think it's important that we emphasize that today. So no matter what you did yesterday, no matter
Yes.
where you found yourself, even this morning, 5 hours ago, like we are making this declaration right now in this moment. Today
Yes.
is the first day of my next life in God and with God. Meaning, if you made it to today, you have an opportunity to begin again. And with your reboot, you get to take this declaration with you and allow it to transform who you are with God and in God, knowing that you are not, and it is impossible for you to be disconnected from God.
Amen. Mm, 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 mm. Today, I make a decision to look beyond the past, letting go of the hurts, anger, the frustrations, the fears, and failures. That's very important. Sometimes we don't forgive ourselves, and we
Mhm.
don't let go of our failures because we think that's all we are. But we are so much more than our failures.
I tell
Think,
my coaching clients, Fail, we're going to reallocate what that means today because we've been taught it's shameful. It's something that you hide. But if we look
Yes.
at that as an acronym, fail, FAIL, first attempt in learning.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
And
Mm-hmm.
because you failed in that moment, the revelation is you learn that it doesn't work that way. Get back up quick, fail forward
Yes.
fast, and try that new way so that you can keep. This is that community researcher component. Like, yes, this didn't work, so let me tell you it doesn't work, so that somebody else coming behind me, that I'm a forerunner for, that's looking up to me. If they don't know that I'm failing and still walking, then they only believe that I'm successful, and their failures push them into shame.
Right.
yeah.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit about the part where you talked about writing down the 10 things that you survived? Because I think that's really important.
Oh yeah. So, walking down this street, thinking about the things I had survived. I was in this place now. My ex-husband is incarcerated. I'm living in a church with two young boys. They were at that time 5 and 7. Uh, Dealing with survival felt different because I was. It still looked like and felt like I was struggling. It didn't feel like survival. And when I begin with this excerpt of, let me think about what I have survived. Like, I'm from Kinston, North Carolina. Like, that's called a Killer K. If you know, you know. But it's a small town in North Carolina.
Hmm.
I didn't realize I was poor until I got to college and they told me I was, but like we didn't have anything. I grew up in the projects. So going without and dealing with what was in our hands to make miracles, I learned that from my mother.
Mm.
But there were so many things that I had also survived in the midst of that I thought was just unfair going through it. Like I survived Christmas, toyless Christmases. Like you're going through it, you're like, that's impossible. I gotta have it. But understanding the power and overcoming that helped me not to perpetuate that trauma for my children so that they have this false expectation of the materialism of holidays. And so
Yeah.
surviving that means that I didn't just make it through, I got a revelation out of being in that experience. And so the more I thought about the list, and I do this on repeat. So I didn't just write that list one time and that's it, because I'm always surviving something.
Hmm.
Right. We
And
are.
so that's why I always encourage people, like, you should have this book at least every quarter or every year, because this way you get to tap into what you've survived, what you let go of, how you grew. It's a way of mapping your own personal growth and development, being able to look back. And I look back and knowing that I survived divorce.
Right.
I survived at that time an ex-husband that was incarcerated. Like that was, for me, that's that journey. No excuses. I was single mom, 2 children, didn't have a village. My father wasn't in my life. I didn't know what I was going to do to raise these boys healthy, because they were heading down the street, a very stereotype, being Black boys, uh, and me being a single mom, depending on government assistance. It was a storm of a cycle that I didn't want. But being able to have those moments to look back at what I've overcome, and look back at when I thought that I didn't have and I wasn't going to make it, God constantly reminded me of what was in me by allowing me to keep being in pursuit of something more that kept me going. So 10 things I survived is a very condensed list, but it's a good way to tap into checking in how you're healing. Do you feel like a survivor in this area still? And then also, when those things come back to try to discourage you,
Right.
tell my scholars all the time, imposter syndrome or imposter phenomenon. When
Right.
those things come up, those voices, those imaginations that we're told we need to cast down, sometimes they're so familiar to us, we sit down and listen. We don't cast them down. So that
Exactly.
survival list is something you can go back and look at. Like, no, no, no. I already declared I survived this. So the evidence of that is already written. So when it looks like something different, or it looks too familiar to what that past thing was, it does not evoke my past response.
What?
That
Amen.
helped remind me of what deliverance looks like. I am delivered unto something better, and my response shouldn't still be the same, because fear don't live
Amen.
here anymore.
Amen. Amen. Did y'all hear that? Drop the mic. Pass the plate. She has definitely dropped some gems tonight. Tell our listeners and our viewers, please, where they could find your book and where they and how they can get in touch with you if they need to.
Absolutely. So, loved ones, just know these are available. It's accessible. While I'm Getting Naked and Sanctuary Life, you can find them both on Shemekka.com. That's SHEMEKKA.com. ShemekkaEbony.com is another platform you can find out information to even do a discovery call. If something resonates with you, you want to have a good girlfriend moment and talk about these things that tapped into you, or if you need some extra assistance, ShemekkaEbony.com has a link there that you can book a discovery call. We also talk about this often. My husband and I, we have a podcast together called Sunday Stacks. So at SundayStacks.com, you'll hear some nuggets about While I'm Getting Naked. We integrate this in our podcast to really help people. We center family and community and company. And I have the pleasure and the honor of working with my husband, the husband that I met in the hedges and highways, because I said yes to God in the hedges and highways. And while
All
I
right,
was
girl.
working in the hedges and highways, he found me working. I didn't have to stop.
Okay.
I wasn't sitting on the side of the road. I wasn't waiting to be rescued. I was about my father's business. And the
Amen.
bonus is we get to do this together. And so we talk about that on our platform. You can find out more information on Sunday Stacks. And definitely let's connect. I have a business support organization, as you mentioned, with Black Girl Magic Market. So if you're a Black woman or a BIPOC entrepreneur looking for support, looking for resources, we are here for you. We have a network and an ecosystem of people ready to connect, and you can check that out and learn about the resources at blackgirlmagic.market.
Well, I say thank you for your transparency because only by us being transparent that we help others. So I thank you. And it's just been such a pleasure tonight. Okay, I'm going to stop talking.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Well, we have reached the end of our program. I got kicked out there. I don't know what happened, but I think it happened so that I could come back and say that you have to come back because I missed some stuff.
I think she needs to come back with a husband too.
I can't be missing stuff. I can't be missing stuff. So
You got it. Absolutely. I would love to. You all's energy. Much success to you all, what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service and ministry and the calling that you all are manifesting in this platform. Many blessings as authors come through here that you all get to feed and nurture them as they grow, and they get to nurture and share their brilliance and their expertise as well. So thank you for your service.
Thank
well, I
you.
tell you what, Shemekka, you are a delight. You are a phenomenal
Thank
woman,
you,
but you're
guys.
also a delightful woman. And we are so happy that we have had the opportunity to have these moments to share with you and to be able to share you with our audience.
Yes, I got new friends.
Yes.
And Ruth, I'm sure you haven't done it yet, but you know you have a special place here
Stuff.
to share some information that nobody can do it like you can do it. So if you can go ahead, that would be great.
Okay, well, I will take that and we'll run with it. So we are on social media. We are on Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube. Just have to look for our handle, Authors Up Show. You can follow us, subscribe, let us know what you think, leave a comment. If you have any questions, if you want to find out how to be on our show, you can send us an email as well, authorsup@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. So also, we have a replay on Saturday night. If you are a Facebook fan, you can find us there at 7 p.m. Or you can visit our YouTube channel or our podcast midweek. We will upload the show. You can take us with you. Um, Leave a comment there. Let us know what your thoughts are. And that's it.
Well done, Miss Ruth.
Thank you.
Well done. You do
Amen.
such a good job every week. We miss you when you're not here. But
Thank
that
you.
is it for us for tonight. Again, thank you so much, Shemekka, for
Absolutely.
your nuggets, for your wisdom, for your love, and for your love of others. To
Yes.
not just do this for yourself, but do it in a way where other people can grow and learn
Thank you.
and be able to have moments of self-discovery and self-assessment, and it's all good. When we say it's all good, it's all good. So we thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining this evening, for all of our listeners and all of our viewers. And as we said in the very beginning, we are here every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. We never ever know exactly what's going to happen on Authors Up. That's why we tell you have to come back, because we can't even plan all the stuff that goes on.
No, we certainly can't.
That's true.
So
That is true.
please join us next Sunday. We will be right here at 7 p.m. for another edition of Authors Up. We pray that all of you have an absolutely amazing week. Catch the replay if you can. If you know somebody that you think would benefit from this, be sure to share all of the contact information with them so that they can be strengthened and encouraged as well. So that's it for tonight. Good night, Ruth. Good night, Victoria.
Good
Good
night.
night,
Good
Good
night.
night,
Shemekka.
Crunch
We'll
Girls.
see
Good
you
night,
all.
Shemekka.
Take care, y'all.
See you all next week. God bless.